what we're seeing on U.S. campuses in recent days is certainly in part a result of the way in which new tech, especially social media, is being used to broadly disseminate anti-Semitic and Israel incitement material. But can new tech be used also to if new tech can be used to promote anti-Semitism, surely it could also be used to fight it. And that's the goal of a new initiative called the ADIR Challenge, a competition offering $1 million to help fund new tech designed to combat Jew hatred. And joining us now is Morielle Lotan, co-founder and CEO of that ADIR Challenge. And Morielle, before we get into the specifics of the ADIR Challenge, I know you have a very personal motive for taking on this initiative, and maybe talk a little about that.
Sure. Thank you for having me. ADIR is my oldest nephew, my sister's oldest son, ADIR Masika, who was killed at the Nova Festival on October 7th. So that is my fuel. My family is my fuel, my friends who are all living here and abroad. And it's personal both because he was my nephew, but also because I think as a community, if this isn't personal, what is?
Right. Now you're involved in the tech field as we should say, as a consultant, I believe, especially startups dealing with climate change.
Right.
So talk about, though, the decision to found this. I know there was other people involved, too. The decision to do this, why choose tech? And what are the specifics of it?
Yeah. So first of all, the moment of the decision was really, I wanted to shut down my climate business. What kind of a world are we trying to save by working on climate initiatives if it's not one we can raise our kids in? For us, for both Dr. Shai Hershkovitz and myself, who's my co-founder, he's the former director of research at X Prize, a nonprofit based in LA that run open innovation competitions. It was clear that we are at a lag. We're talking about a 25-year at least delay between other organizations rallying around what we're seeing today on college campuses, and we needed something at scale, and we needed something that the Jewish mind is excellent at. So we brought the startup mindset to legacy organizations that didn't have tech-centric strategies around anti-Semitism, and we launched the ADIR Challenge as a global innovation and technology challenge to combat anti-Semitism and hate.
Well, as you mentioned, there's a sort of catch-up quality being played here. I mean, the anti-Semitism is also described as the world's oldest hate. And maybe, I think, Jewish organizations, bodies in the state of Israel, including government bodies that deal with anti-Semitism, were kind of caught by surprise at the way in which these tech, especially the social media platforms, were utilized in order to spread anti-Semitism.
Oh, for sure. I think that the true strategic surprise that we should all be paying attention to is not the October 7th Israeli intelligence surprise. It's the surprise of the international community, specifically the Jewish community and those bodies that were responsible for tackling and combating anti-Semitism. The thing is that they've mostly been done historically as a very reactive effort. And we believe in a proactive effort that sees technology as a way to bring together at the speed that we really need in order to catch up what we're clearly lagging behind once again. We have 253 teams, almost now 300 as of this morning, teams from 21 countries who have submitted ideas. It's pretty amazing.
Can you, now look, this is a competition, and I can't ask you to tip which ideas, but just give us a sense of what we're talking about, especially people who are less tech savvy.
Yeah.
So we know anti-Semitism is being spread in so many different ways at the grassroots level, and including via these tech things. So what would be, in general, what are you looking for?
Well, I'll take you to two extremes.
Okay.
On one extreme, we're looking at predictive AI and artificial intelligence, obviously, new algorithms, and you're looking at legal technologies that can quickly close the loop and be more of the punishment-oriented technologies. On the other hand...
So in other words, but you mean in order to compel either social media companies or local authorities...
Or people who you see today who are trying to cover themselves by wearing a keffiyeh or, you know, covered up in makeup so that we can't see them visually, so that we can trace them. Those are the kind of technologies that we might be able to...
Interesting, because there are people who have been trying to do this. It almost erupted as an ad hoc way, people tearing down posters in New York, and you're saying to get a kind of tech that could be
Well, imagine
utilized.
if I could tell you as an employer, that your employees were at X, Y, and Z demonstration calling for the killing of Jews. I mean, and you could do something about their employment or fire them on the spot. That might be a good deterrent.
Right, and do it quickly without having to go through days on searching on an internet. Okay,
that's right.
That's one example.
So the other example, which was probably more surprising, are in the positive psychology. So psychology and technology where they cross, where you're talking about increase in empathy, decreasing seeing someone else as the other, dehumanizing them. And of course, we see a lot of ideas coming in the realm of social media, because as we all know, social media is absolutely spreading things like wildfire.
Right. Now, one of the few tech is, we have to say that one of the few areas in which Israel has leverage I was in the business community, but not just in the world, which is why we see the Elon Musks and other tech leaders coming to Israel, is in the tech field. So how reactive have they been in mobilizing their power? And it is the tech community in Israel has power. Some might even say beyond the influence of the government when it comes internationally. So how is that response been?
Israel right now, out of the 4 leading countries that are participating in the challenge, are number 1. So
okay.
I'm hoping that we're always going to see Israel as number 1. It's our expectation and our belief that the Israeli startup know-how is exactly what we need. Number 2, there's a decision that needs to be made that this isn't just their problem, their being the Jewish diaspora, but there is a strategic, extremely important link between a strong Jewish diaspora and a strong Israel. And I think we're going to be able to see that come about more as the challenge expands.
Okay, now I just as a practical matter,
yes.
If there's any tech entrepreneurs or tech thinkers out there, is it still possible to enter? And there's a website,
it's www.theadirchallenge.com.
The ADIR, spelled ADIR.
challenge. And April 30th, we're closing the first stage of our idea challenge. So you still have a few days and more than enough time to submit an idea.
Okay, so I want to say if there's any future tech geniuses or current that want to get involved in there, please get going on it. And as you heard, it's the ADIR Challenge, ADIR, and perhaps you'll come up with something positive from the world of tech in defending the Jewish people in the world against anti-Semitism. I want to thank Morielle Lotan for joining us, and of course,